Hey, what's poppin', friends? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. Really do hope that. Chelsea have got a ruddy, huge game in Europe. Copenhagen in the Conference League. It is a massive game. Really, really interesting. Copenhagen are, of course, top of their respective domestic league. They're used to winning. They're a team used to winning that have earned their position here in Europe. Though, rather interestingly, a bit of a plot twist. If we are to believe the journalist in Maresca's pre-match press conference, Elyounoussi, their star player, has been withdrawn from the squad, and some people are speculating that's because they're prioritising the league, their title race. And if you compare that to Chelsea adding our star player and Cole Palmer to the knockout phase, of course Cole's been off colour recently, he's not been playing incredibly well. But we're going to get into it. Loads of players returning. The squad's really interesting. Badiashile, big smile on Maresca's face when he spoke about returning players from injury, saying, look, when we were second in the league or whatever, we had all these players. They got injured. It coincides. A little bit of excuses, but, you know, you do hear, I mean, to be honest, you hear all friggin' managers do that. We are going to get into it today. We're going to build a lineup. I want to show you some interesting stats as well, as is my like and what I'm into. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you want to support the content, super simple, just drop a like on the video. If you want to subscribe, you're welcome to. Hit the bell if you choose to, baby. Let's get into it. Alright, so I do want to show you this first, guys, this graphic. This is actually on my Instagram as well, at FootballYannick on Instagram, should you want to follow me. Same as my second channel name. Look at this graphic here. Bang! Courtesy of WhoScored.com, my boy Wesley Fofana, the French centre-back, with and without the defender who likes to maraud forward, who of course can play as a right-back as well, the right-foot centre-back. As you can see, Chelsea's win percentage with Wesley Fofana is 58.3%, which is strong. That's just solid top four form win percentage there, especially if your lose percentage isn't high, like if you get some draws in there as well. It's very, very strong indeed. With Wesley in the side, we concede an average of 1 goal per game. Without him, we concede 1.71. And rather worryingly, our win percentage without him is 35%. And this is a good sample size, guys. It's not like he played for 3 games or 4 games. This is 12 games with, 14 games without. And this isn't, you know, and of course we played, and it's not like we played easier games with him either. This is a real genuine piece of data that demonstrates how good Wesley Fofana is. I get a lot of stick for like bigging him up all the time here on the channel, like, oh, he never plays, Jan. But remember, I was so excited when we signed him. I couldn't believe it. I think I still think he can be the best centre back in the league in terms of so much to his skill set. Yeah, he can defend well, he can progress the ball, he can carry the ball, he can score goals. I love him genuinely. I think if he's fit, him and William Saliba for France can just dominate the scene for a long, long time, especially in terms of their age profile. So he is fit. Yeah, he's back. I'm going to read to you the travelling squad to Denmark for the European game. 3 goalkeepers, unsurprisingly, Jorgensen, Sanchez, and Young Bergstrom. Defenders, Josh Achiampong, Tosin Adarabioyo. The returning Benoit Badiashile, who apparently has been training for 10 days. Which is a long time he's been back with them, yeah? That's big. We'll talk about that when we build a lineup in a moment. Trevoh Chalobah's back. Levi Colwill's also travelled with Mark Cucurella. And the 2 right backs, Gusto and Reece James. Now, midfielders, I am disappointed to inform you that Raksaki has not travelled. I think he could have started this game. Spoiler, but we won't put him in because he's not travelled. Matisse Mugu, new January transfer signing, who's already played some minutes for Chelsea. Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Of course, not listed as a midfielder here, but previously in the defenders, Reece James was listed, and as we know, Reece James has been deployed as a midfielder lately. So you can kind of add him to the midfielders. Forwards, Tyreek George, Shimueka, 17-year-old centre forward, Pedro Neto, Christopher Nkunku, Cole Palmer, and Jadon Sancho. So all the big guns, really. Well, everyone, really. You know, of course, in the absence of Nico, Mark Yu, Noni Madueke, of course, not available. So yeah, we're going to look and build a lineup together in just a moment. Let's take a look at Copenhagen. Again, Elianussi's not travelled with them. You remember him from the Premier League. They play at 4-4-2, or certainly have done in this last game here that they played. But look, yes, it's the Danish league. We can judge it all we want. But the truth is, they've played in Champions League recently. You know, so they're used to being in Europe. They're in a title race, the top of the league. They're used to winning. These players will look at Chelsea. They'll look at I know we've beaten Southampton, but they'll look at our form prior to that and be like, we can beat these guys. We can beat these guys in a game of football. You know, Ipswich beat them 2-0. we could, if Ipswich can beat them 2-0, we can beat them the same or 1-0 or draw frustrate them and get a draw. They will absolutely fancy it, you know, because they're a much more settled and senior team. And of course, we should have way too much quality for them, but what I'm trying to say here is we absolutely should not, you know, be complacent here. So let's have a bit of fun then, shall we? Let's build a lineup. I'm going to go for a conventional 4-3-3, which we've kind of seen lately, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's been confirmed by Maresca in his press conference, that Rob Sanchez will start. Of course, it is confirmed now. He is the second choice goalkeeper. Now, this is real tough. I remember one of you guys commenting you'd prefer me to make the lineup before and talk you through it, but I actually like talking you through it as I go. Do you know what I mean? Because I kind of have a little bit of fun with it. Now, returning centre backs. Okay, I think Tosin has to start here. Uncle Tosin, he's not had too many minutes recently. Of course, he's not first choice when everyone's fit, but this is an opportunity for him to display some leadership at the back. He's had some good moments this season, like blocks in front of goals, etc., etc. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, Levi Colwill, or, you know, I don't think Wesley Fofana is going to start this game. As much as I'd love to see Wesley Fofana, of course, if he did, we could move Tosin over and play Wes here. I want to see Wes off the bench. I want to see Wes maybe get 60 minutes against Leicester on the weekend, and then I'd love to see Wes start against Arsenal the following game, yeah? That's what I would like to see. Partnering Tosin, I am going to put Chalobah at left centre-back. Of course, not his favourite position. He sort of wants to play right centre-back. He's even played right back, you know, quite a lot under Thomas Tuchel, and indeed since, maybe, possibly. And left back, you'll be thinking, right, well, there's the obvious choices would be Cucurella, and I'm going to sort of go a little bit left field here, guys. I'm going to kind of bleed into what I'd like to see, rather than necessarily what I fully expect to see. So left back, you could think, well, Cucurella, you know, serious away game, get it done, play Cucurella. You could even say Malo Gusto. We've seen both Malo Gusto and Reece James start at left back, but I'm going to go for none of them. I'm going to go for a player who apparently has been fit. I can't spell Badiashile. There it is. Apparently he's been fit for a while now. We've seen him play left back before. If a right back inverts, he can tuck into left centre back, left footer. I can see that happening. And I'm going to go completely crazy, guys. And I know he doesn't have a card here, so we have to use the other placeholder. It's a different player. This is a striker, a Champong, yeah. So that's not Joshua Champong, but it's his placeholder. I've gone full Pep Guardiola like a couple of seasons ago, and even Arteta recently, and I realise I'm playing 4 centre backs along the back. But Joshua Champong can play right back. Benoit Badiashile can play left back. We can see substitute appearances from Cucurella. You know, like, I'm not going for get the job done early. I'm going for more break glass in case of emergency, especially hearing Elianussi's been withdrawn. It's an opportunity for these players to get the job, you know, just show they're good enough to get the job done themselves. Do you know what I mean? We can play a stronger team against Leicester at home. I know that's a bit silly, but hopefully then we'll be in a good position on the return leg here that we can play, you know, these kind of players again, you know? A lot of people want to put the big guns out early, and maybe we can see a couple up top, but that back four is good enough to get a result against Copenhagen, you know? So let's build a central midfield. Now, this is tough, man. I don't see Caicedo getting a rest. If there's one player that I see sticking out for 60 minutes to try and get the game going and then rest him, I see it as Moises Caicedo. I genuinely do. I do see Dewsbury Hall also starting. He can do some stuff sometimes, Dewsbury Hall. Maresca's got a bit of a soft spot for him, I think, even if he's not been relying on him or seeing him as a viable, player. But I do see him playing here in that left number 8 role. Personally, I do not see Matisse Amugu starting. I see him actually coming on and relieving a Moises Caicedo. Not like that. Hopefully when we're in a good position. And yeah, I see Reece James. Reece James starting in central midfield again as a right number 8. Hopefully not much running. Can be a captain. Or he will be the captain, obviously. With leadership with Moises Caicedo, with Tosin. Combining with these guys and getting the job done. Now, I heard on the Straight Out of Cobham podcast talking about Tyreek George playing at right wing. And, of course, he's got a relationship with Joshua Champong, and they've linked up before on that flank. Tyreek George, we saw him got a great assist the other day from that position, didn't he? Cut back. I want to see Tyreek George starting at right wing. Now, this is where I think probably start with some big guns and just try and get some goals on the board, to alleviate the pressure on the players at the back, and just say, look, you can play with a bit more confidence because we're one or two goals ahead, hopefully. I'm going to complete the set here. I'm going to keep Pedro Neto as a striker. Oh, he's been listed as available there for a striker. And I'm going to go with, actually, I was going to say Nkunku, but maybe Sancho. No, I'm going to get Nkunku, because Nkunku, we want to keep him happy, yeah. He's on for the golden boot in this competition. And, of course, we saw him play a little bit more like this, yeah, which suited him a little bit better, I think, in the last couple of games. He looked a little bit more like he's occupying the right spaces, that he's not getting lost as a left winger. And then we can see substitute appearances from... I don't think we should play Cole Palmer unless, of course, we're losing. And it's like, oh my God, we can't lose this tie. If you wonder why it's just got darker, the cat's just jumped in front of the ruddy light. I ideally don't want to be using Cole Palmer here. Who knows, he might start. Again, this is what I'd prefer. But you could see the likes of Jadon Sancho coming on for Nkunku. Shimweka coming on for Pedro Neto. I mean, I would love to see Shim start, to be honest. If he starts, I'm like, great, let's freaking do it. Do you know what I mean? It might be a front three of George, Shim, and Sancho, and I'd be totally cool with that. But for the moment, if I was manager, I'd just take these players, go for it. Lots of seniority there as far as the Chelsea squad can go, which is, generally very, very young. There's senior players there like Tosin and Nkunku, James, experienced players like, Chalabar, and even players like Dewsbury Hall's like mid-20s. Like, just get it done, boys. Score a few goals, and then we can see, the likes of Amelo Gusto coming on for Reece James to play midfield, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like, just make sure players don't get burnt out and get overcooked, basically. Yeesh. Okay, late transition there. So that's the way I'd go. I'd go quite strong up top, try and get the goals in, and then bring the what's it, kids? It's not even kids. The rotational players on afterwards. I do think personally they'll score because that's just the vibe with Chelsea. But I think we'll win, especially when I heard about like any. Hold on, Elianusi. I had to say it a few times. Their star player not playing. I don't, again, I could be totally wrong. It's a really hard lineup to call, but I'm going to go with a 3-1 away win with Chelsea, putting us in a position to, in the home tie, play similar rotational team and be like, do kind of what we did before in the league phase, like give another team or some rotational players an opportunity to like develop themselves, and then have like a really good sample size from the Premier League team against Leicester, 2 rounds of a rotated team against Copenhagen to essentially consolidate what we should put out against Arsenal and try and beat Arsenal. I know we're looking way ahead here, but that's the final game before the before the international break. But, you know, if we win this, Leicester, second Copenhagen tie, and then beat Arsenal, boy howdy, how the mood would have changed. So guys, I put it out to you. Let me know what you think. Please do leave your predictions down below. That's score predictions, lineup predictions, just general comments. As always, I'll thank you for supporting me here on the channel. Super easy. Just like and subscribe. And I hope to see you back here soon, truly. All right, take care. Peace.